Well, so the first go round.
This is just upcoming storm. Yeah.
Right. Me, Ron, Brandon, and the second round is you, and then Darren Betts coming up after.
I've got batting orders. You're all good?
Okay.
All right. Morning, everybody. Good morning. Hey, great news. It hasn't started snowing yet. But thank you all for being here today. It's great to be back down here at the NDDOT shop. And of course, surrounded by incredible team members of NDDOT that do such amazing work for us. And of course, all this impressive equipment that's surrounding us here today. But part of what we're here today is to pay tribute and share gratitude for all the great people, not just at the state level, that work so hard to keep our citizens safe and our roads clear, keep commerce moving, keep our state moving forward. It's so important to the economy, so important to our schools, so important to everybody in the state. So we want to thank them, but it's not just the state level. We got county, we got local, we got township, we got cities, we got drivers, and what a winter they've had. But let me just start with that and say let's give it up for all the drivers that are doing all this amazing work. Got a great team of leaders behind me. You're going to get a chance to hear from each of them on two different topics. One is on snow removal, but we are going from, we're not going from winter to spring, we're probably going from winter to flooding. So we're going to talk about the winter that we still have ahead of us here this week, and then also give an update to people on what's going on relative to flood. But I do want to, again, as I say, lead with gratitude. In addition to the amazing North Dakota Department of Transportation team, we've also have working very closely with them all the time is our North Dakota Highway Patrol and all of our local law enforcement agencies that have to work in combination with each other. First responders, plenty of stories again this winter where plows have been out in front of law enforcement. They've been out in front of first responders with ambulances trying to rescue and save people, and it just brings out what's the best in North Dakota when we see that folks like this working together. It's April 4th. We'd like to think this is spring and be thinking about planting and thinking about spring flowers. And when I was a kid, I always looked forward to track and field in the spring. Arthur did not have a track. So, track coach would tell us go run around the section. And that was a great training. But I'm smiling because Somehow around the section there were still kids that found a way to take a shortcut around this running thing. But this winter has probably felt like the world's longest track meet, with each snowstorm setting us off on a race to try to clear the road, move the store before the next one. They've come back to back, and as we know, we've had record levels or near record levels, so we'll maybe break some more records this weekend. We hope that finish line is around the corner in the next week or so, but we have a major hurdle coming. Like I said, let's open up saying thankfully it's not snowing yet. Still forecasted 6 to 10 inches for Bismarck, but we could get 10 or 20 inches in the eastern part of the state before the storm moves on tomorrow. In Bismarck, if we get more than 6.3 inches, it's going to pass the all-time historic record of about 102 inches set back in 96-97, which of course you all know that was the year that we ended up losing Grand Forks. And if any of you, and I know legislators that are here driving back and forth from their homes back to Bismarck every week, they know the accumulations that are around the state in James Valley, Cheyenne, Red River Valley. We've got some potential flooding issues depending that's coming there. And one thing I would say on that is it's not just the amount of snow. We can look at record winters, but remember it was like March 28th was 2009. That was the all-time high flood mark in Fargo. That was like a week ago. And so, when in 97 and 09, in some of those floods, we got saved by overnight cold weather temperatures that slowed it down. I mean, that's what allowed people to get out and finish putting up 15 million sandbags. We may not have that luxury here because if we have this much snow and then and we're in the middle of, and it's April 15th, we may not get a 20-degree night. If it stays above freezing overnight, we could end up with some rapid runoff. So we're just going to have to be prepared. And of course, we know in this storm that's coming, gusts as high as 60 miles an hour. I know that sometimes you know, and I know it happens. I see the tour buses and the kids coming to school, and it's April. Kids are getting off the bus wearing shorts and T-shirts. We have people sometimes that dress by the calendar and not by the weather report, but I do want to remind people that this is going to be dangerous blizzard conditions this week, and want everybody to be safe. But anyway, so because of both the combination of the winter storm and the flooding and the legislation we're going to sign here today, we want to cover those two topics. I do want to say thank you. We've got out here Lieutenant Governor Tammy Miller doing a fantastic job in her role, and great to have her here behind me. Major General Alan Dorman, who of course is, they call them super tags when you're the Adjutant General and you also lead emergency services. And so we got Super Tag Dorman is here. Director Ron Hinkie, Department of Transportation, doing a fantastic job leading that. Colonel Brandon Solberg, likewise, Superintendent North Dakota Highway Patrol with his team. Andrea Travnik, Director of North Dakota Water Resources, best water resources leader in the nation. And then Darren Hansen in his role of North Dakota Homeland Security Director. You're going to be hearing from all of them. But I want to also, let's talk and shift gears a little bit about this legislation, because we all know that our cities, our counties, and our townships and our tribal nations have in many cases depleted and it far exceeded their snow removal budgets this winter. So we're grateful today to be here. One of the things we're going to get done today is sign the legislation that's going to provide at least some measure of relief to these political subdivisions that have been hit the hardest. They're going to be joining me up here for the bill signing, but I want to thank, they're all here today. Senator Terry Wanzik of Jamestown, he was the bill's prime sponsor. Representative Mike Brandenburg of Edgeley, bill co-sponsor. Other sponsors are here. We've got Senator Jerry Klein from Fessenden. He's one of our legislative leaders on the Senate side. Senator Mark Weber from Castleton. Friend and arch rival from growing up, Castleton Schools. Congratulations, winning both the B girls and boys. Go Castleton. Go Squirrels. Representative Keith Kempenik from Bowman is here, and Representative Alyssa Mitskog from Wahpeton, and also Representative Josh Boucher, the House Minority Leader. Thank you all for being here, and thanks for getting all of your group together to get behind this. Also, Secretary of State Michael Howe, also another Castleton Squirrel, being here today. He's going to help attest to the bill signing and sign the bill to make it official into law right here. And then we've also got some officials we'll ask to join us that have supported this bill, but also always do a great job representing their organizations. But Aaron Burst, the Executive Director of the North Dakota Association of Counties, Matt Gardner, Executive Director of North Dakota League of Cities, and Larry Severson, Executive Secretary of North Dakota Township Officers. So county, cities, and townships, thank you for your support, and thanks for being here. I want to hit on 4 quick points here before we move on to other speakers. And the first thing is just to know that North Dakota is great. For better or worse, we're great at emergency management. Floods, fires, storms, tornadoes, whatever. Our state and our people at the local level, the state level, know how to get out and work with our citizens to get something done. And of course, in here, we've been preparing now for some time this spring, not for getting ready for the spring season, but the state partners have been coordinating and ready to respond with a whole of government approach, working with our locals if we do end up in a spring flooding situation. But on the road stuff this week, I just want to say another point is patience. I know sometimes we're in a rush to get someplace, but I just want to remind people and everybody, we got one more storm to get through. If this is likely the last one, likely whatever you have can wait. Just take your time. Our teams are going to be out in full force. You're going to hear from these guys. We have 350 plow drivers, 350 machinery. We got backup machines. We got people positioned around the state. These folks watch the weather reports. They move equipment to where they're going to be needed. They're ready to go. But remember, we got 106,000 miles of state, city, county, and township systems and out there. So with the with that 106,000 miles, these things have been plowed at least 10 times this winter. So it's for sure between all these entities, we've plowed over 1 million miles of road. And remember, North Dakota, people don't forget the size of the state. North Dakota is the size of all 6 New England states. These groups that are out there doing it, it's the same as if they had to plow every road in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. almost to a mile, that's the same size as North Dakota. So big job to do, and they do it so well. And I say be patient. 22 times this year so far, let's keep it at 22 times this year, a citizen driving a car has run into a North Dakota snowplow. That's just state plows, 22 times. This is people getting impatient, trying to pass, driving into a place where they got zero visibility. There's more cases where they don't hit the plow and they try to pass, they just end up in the ditch. And then they end up with highway patrol, and then you end up with risky situations for our first responders. And so again, what I say, patience saves lives, let's remember that. And of course, snowplow crews are able to clear roads more quickly if they don't have to move around stranded vehicles or people that are being rescued out of ditches. But I also want to say again, thank you as I close this section to everybody that works all these long hours. We've had plow drivers that have spent nights, they've been snowed into their vehicles overnight. That's sometimes standard work for these folks, but they get out there and do it. They're away from their families. They're out there doing stuff for the rest of us, and we just owe them all a lot of gratitude. But and then and just like you, when they get done plowing the roads for us, they got to go home and plow their own driveways just like everybody else. So let's share our gratitude to all those folks that are doing that. Also, technology. Guess what? The most popular app in state government in North Dakota is ND Roads. It's a great app, but if you don't have it, download the app, Google Play or Apple App Store, and it's updated. It's got great information, and don't just look out the window and go, hey, we can make it. Download the app, take a look at the route you're going on, and you'll see which roads are in tough shape and which ones are closed. So and then and so again, thank you to NDDOT, the North Dakota Highway Patrol, and everybody else. And now we're going to get things started on the on emergency services and the highway part of that. First up to speak is Major General Dorman. Following that, we're going to have Director Ron Hinkie from NDDOT, and follow that by Colonel Brandon Solberg of the North Dakota Highway Patrol. They're going to share some key information about storm prep and our response. But again, let's give it up for our first speaker, Major General Dorman.